Good day, good people, from wherever you are watching from today. Hope you've had a wonderful day so far. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for sparing your data for this lecture. You're welcome to our critical study and evaluation of a prose work. It's a prose work written by Elma Shaw. Of course, it's a novel. You can see it right here. Yeah, that is Elma Shaw, Redemption Road. We'll be doing the critical study of this text. It has become important to delve into this text because it is one of the recommended texts for the West Africa Examination Council. That is the West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination. So we will be looking at it to aid your success or your candidate success at the examination. Welcome. Before we continue, if you haven't done that, please I'll implore you to please click the subscribe button. Yeah, click the subscribe button. You can support us by sharing, by engaging this lecture so as to enable its virality, touching lives wherever they are all over the world. So thank you. Now, this text, without wasting your time, let's go into this text quickly. We will be doing the summary. Yeah, I'll be giving you the summary, and at the end of each chapter, I'll be giving you the narrative techniques used in each of the chapters. So, for your information, this book, Redemption Road, is divided into 3 parts. Yeah, 3 parts. Redemption Road is divided into 3 parts. And each of these parts has a very, very unique title. A very unique title. So the first part is titled Time Heals Nothing. That's the first part, and we'll be starting from there. Time Heals Nothing. That's the title of the first part, and it has astonishing 18 chapters. Yeah, you heard right. It has 18 chapters. Then it has another part. That's the part 2 of the text. The part 2 of this beautiful text is titled Truth Light the Way. Truth Light the Way, and that has 8 chapters. That's part 2. Then the part 3 is Peace is a Reward. That's the title of the third part. All these 3 parts are contained in Redemption Road, and I think that chapter also has 8 chapters. Yeah, 8 chapters. Yeah, we have 34 chapters in this text. So we need to just move at a very good pace for us to conclude this unique prose work on time. It is a novel. Yeah, I call it a novel because of the volume. When you're talking about a volume should have nothing less than 180 pages. Yes, anything below 180 pages is not qualified as a novel. All right, now let's start right away. Another interesting thing that I would like to tell you about in this text is the beginning. Look at this. Look at this. Can you see that? Yeah, there is a poetic prologue at the beginning of the poem, a poetic prologue. I'll read that quickly before we go into the chapter 1. Of course, in this episode, we're looking at the chapter 1 alone, but it is important that we also look at the poetic prologue. Thank you. The poetic prologue is titled 1980, Redemption is Here. 1980, Redemption is here. I read, one mother rejoices, one mother grieves, one woman dances, one woman weeps. That's stanza 1. Yeah. Can you note something in this stanza? It has 4 lines. I I can see antithesis. Antithesis is right here. That is using contrasting statement clauses side by side. One mother rejoices, one mother grieves. Grieve is the direct opposite of rejoice. So they are blended in 2 lines. So you have your antithesis there. So another thing about the dance and the whip, that is also an example of antithesis when you have them in statement, in contrasting statement. Stanza 2 of the poem. And what, pray tell, was the redemption road paved with? That's rhetorical question there. And what, pray tell, was the redemption road paved with? Good intentions, aid from abroad, greed, blood, rigged elections, blood, and still more aid. That's stanza 2. The persona is asking us that this redemption, this so-called redemption road, with what is the road paved? Is it good intentions? Who paved the road? That's one serious question. So who paved the road? Then, with what intention was the road paved? Do they have good intentions? Is it aid from abroad? I mean, anytime you have this aid from abroad, be careful. Greed. We cannot de-emphasize the fact that majority of the African leaders thrive on this concept of greed. Yes, greed, lust for power, lust for domination, blood. This is preparing our mind for something tragic, from something dastard. Blood, rigged elections. That is the order of the day in this part of the world. Rigged elections just because you want to be on the seat of power at all cost. We want to remain there. One president, 38 years on throne. Yeah, rigged elections. More blood. If you don't want to live there, you'll be forced out of the seat. If you want to compete, if you want to be my opposition and you're garnering weight, you're garnering serious support, hello, it's time to keep what? Quiet forever. And still more aid. That is stanza 2. Stanza 3 now says, so 1990, please note this, the title of the poem says 1980. So in 1980, there is a coup d'etat that ushers in a government in 1980, and the slogan used back then is redemption is here now. So stanza 3. So in 1990, redemption comes again. Are we not tired of redemption? A decade ago, that is 10 years ago, we talked about redemption, redemption. Now 10 years again, redemption, redeeming us from what? Or from what? Redeeming the people from what? There was redemption. Is there any need for redemption? Let's continue stanza 3, line 1 again. So 1990, redemption comes again. This time, almost everyone rejoices. Then, everyone grieves. Almost everyone dances. Then, everyone weeps. Let me explain that quickly, briefly. Okay? Because of the uh, unfavorable experience of the past 10 years from the so-called redemption movement, when another counter coup is staged to overthrow the new government, to place a new government on the throne, almost everyone. Unlike the first one, you have about maybe like 50-50, 50 happy, 50 unhappy. This time around, almost everyone rejoices that thank God, oh, there's change of power. This 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 unfavorable government, this government that is full of hardship for the common man. Thank God that the time has come to an end. Another person has taken over. So almost everyone this time rejoices 10 years after. But suddenly, the shocking thing is that this instantly, not so long after, then everyone, not excluding anyone, meaning the first devil, the other devil is even preferable to this new devil. So then everyone grieves, almost everyone. When there is topple of government, so almost everyone rejoices. Now then everyone weeps. Leadership in this part of the world as captured by this novel. So you can feel the antithesis here again as a poetic device. So the last stanza is a couplet. Over a decade of turmoil and prayers for peace, turmoil, problem, we still pray for peace. So where is the redemption? When are we getting out of this? That is a beautiful poem. Stanza 1 is a quatrain, 4 lines. Stanza 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9-line stanza. Stanza 2 is 9-line stanza. So stanza 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a quintain, 5-line stanza. Then the last stanza is a couplet. So that is the poetic prologue. This poetic prologue is getting us set for turbulence, for trouble, for death, for war, for all sorts of political injustice. Fasten your seat belt. That is what the poem is telling us. Fasten your seat belt. Get ready for a very rough ride for the people. Are you ready? Let's go. Part 1. If you haven't subscribed, please just take the time to quickly do your subscription right away. Thank you so much. So, chapter 1 of part 1. Part 1 is time heals nothing. Even from this title, we can see a narrative technique, which I will delve into shortly after the summary. I'll be starting with the summary of chapter 1. The part 1 says time heals nothing. Why? Why doesn't time heal everything? So this chapter 1 opens with the memorial service. Oh, sorry. Before I go into chapter 1, I would like to give you the list of the characters that we have in chapter 1. So I'll be doing that for all the chapters. I'll give you the list of all the characters so that when we mention the characters, you are familiar with the characterization briefly. So let's start. Chapter 1, the very first name mentioned in chapter 1 is Catherine May Tyler Lewis. Yes, you heard right. Catherine May Tyler Lewis. She is the grandmother to a character which I'll mention the name soon, and she is the matriarch, a patriotic matriarch of the Lewis dynasty. Number 2, we have Bendu Lewis. Bendu Lewis, the protagonist. Yeah, the protagonist, Bendu Lewis. Number 3, we have Ben Lewis. Ben Lewis is Bendu's father. We also have Eva Lewis. Eva Lewis, that's Bendu's mother. We have cousin Rebecca. Yeah, cousin Rebecca, that's Bendu's cousin. That is number 5. We have another character in this chapter, and that character is Commander Cobra. Commander Cobra. You want to see this commander in action, right? Yeah, Commander Cobra is the head of this faction of the rebel that we see in chapter 1. We also have Samson. Samson is one of the rebels, the fighters under Commander Cobra. We have that. We have Agnes. Yes, we have Agnes. Agnes is Bendu's colleague at the Peace Education Center. That's Agnes. We have Tene. Tene is also a student at the Peace Education Center. She's actually hospitalized for malaria and should still be in bed receiving treatment. But they all want to offer support to uh, the protagonist, that is Bendu Lewis, at the occasion of the grandmother's memorial service. Yeah, we have. Oh, sorry, I should have mentioned this one. We have Seata Lewis Clark. Seata Lewis Clark. Let's just say Seata. Seata is Bendu's sister, the older sister to Bendu. Let's Seata. We have Seata featuring in chapter 1. And it is with this Seata that Eva and Ben seek accommodation when they return from United States of America back to Liberia for Granny May's memorial service. That's Seata. We have Seata. There we have Terence Clark. Terence Clark. Who is Terence Clark? Terence Clark is Seata's husband. He is in government. No, he's one of the he holds one office in the present government. Terence Clark. We have Calvin Daniels. Calvin Daniels. Yeah, who is Calvin Daniels? Calvin Daniels is a childhood friend to Bendu Lewis. So this is the list of all the characters that we have, the physical characters. We still have, yeah, we still have other characters that are not mentioned, but there is reference to them. Let me start like this. At the memorial service, according to the plot, at the memorial service organized for Granny May, we have hundreds of relatives and family coming together to celebrate and honor this matriarch. And then the rebels with Commander Cobra, they are about 30 people. Yes, they're about 30 people. And the village is bombarded. The village is attacked by these rebels. Villages, we have lots of men, women, children, infants, babies, abandoned. We have lots of them, lots of the villagers, lots of them, lots of them lost their lives during the rebel attack. So this is the list of the characters you're going to experience in chapter 1. So back to the summary of chapter 1 opens with the memorial service organized for Catherine May Tyler Lewis, the matriarch of the Lewis dynasty. Though she has died 10 years ago, 10 years ago, they are just marking her funeral 10 years after because of the political problems of the land. So the family, friends, and relatives are gathered here to celebrate this woman, to mourn this woman with a symbolic casket. Symbolic casket in the sense that they have not found the corpse, the dead body of Catherine May. Why? Suspense. One of the narrative techniques used in this text. Will be coming to that. So there is no casket for this woman, but just a life-size portrait of Catherine May laid in the shiny casket, silver lined. Yeah, they lay the life-size portrait of Granny May in the casket, along with a personal effect, the things that she loves most while alive. And what are these things that she holds dearly during her lifetime? One, we have a a framed portrait of her departed husband, Samuel Lewis II. Samuel Lewis II. We have that in the casket. We also have the family pictures, other family, a college of family pictures in the casket. We have a single white rose in the casket. We have a Holy Bible placed in the casket. We also have the Liberian flag in the casket. All these items are placed in the casket to be buried alongside a life-size portrait in the casket. Now you know that this woman is very patriotic. This is where we have the fact that she is patriotic. So they gathered at the memorial. Ben Lewis, that is Bendu's father, is moving about. That is the son of this woman, the son of Catherine May. Ben Lewis is going about, touching people here and there, comforting them, sharing jokes with them, talking about the generosity of his mother, Catherine May, with friends, mingling with the friends, going in between them here and there. So while Ben is doing that to the guest at the memorial, the wife, Eva Lewis, and the cousin, and Bendu's cousin Rebecca, they are seated, glancing over at Bendu Lewis. No, not Bendu now. Bendu is a daughter. So they have this disapproving, Eva Lewis and the cousin Rebecca, they have this disapproving look in their eyes at Bendu all the time. They are glancing at her. And what's she going to do next? That kind of feeling. Why are they looking at her like that? We are going to discover in course of the plot. So all these things are suspenseful. So Eva is seated and all that is going on. Bendu herself, the protagonist, she's there. She's thinking. Yeah, she's thinking. She's touched the most by grandma's death. She suffers more pain by grandma's death. Our pain concerning grandma's departure, grandma's death is magnified compared to others. And she feels that these people will never understand the depth of her pain. Why? That all these people gathered, crying, talking to the invisible Catherine May Tyler. There's this belief in Africa that when the dead depart, their spirit lingers around. So they can still watch over the people at they are at the scene of the memorial of their dead. So indirectly, so people shouting and screaming, "Oh, Catherine Tyler, why did you leave us like this? Why have you gone at this time? Oh, Catherine." They are indirectly talking to Catherine Tyler in the spirit world. Others are showing raw emotions. They are crying. This outpour of emotions going around Bendu Lewis, but she's just there thinking that they will never understand her pain. Why won't they understand her pain? Sit back. Just keep reading. Keep listening. So she's seated, thinking deep that they will never understand. At that point, the people around her at the memorial, they easily metamorphose into the incident from the past. Beginning with the voice she hears in her head. "Hey girl, leave that woman and save yourself." Now, she's in the past. The flashback has started. That's another narrative technique. I'll be throwing more light on the narrative techniques. Then the flashback starts. She sees herself in the ocean of people running helter-skelter, trying to escape the attack of the rebels. Yeah, and something is delaying her fast pace. She is holding a wheelbarrow. She is actually pushing a wheelbarrow, and in that wheelbarrow is the emaciated body, the sickly body of her grandmother, Granny May. She's emaciated down to 90 pounds according to the record in the book. This woman is sick. She has had no access to medical care since they are trapped in Somerville. They are trapped in Somerville. They've gone to Somerville to visit relatives when the rebels blew up the big bridge, and they are unable to return to Monrovia, their base. So they are stuck there. She becomes ill. There's no medical attention. So running away from the attack of the neighboring villages of Charlie Town. So they are in Charlie Town. right now, and all the neighboring villages, they are all fleeing, they are all running. If you don't run, you will be destroyed, you will be killed, your lives are wasted. So she's pushing Granny May in a wheelbarrow, the almighty Granny May, lean body, sickly, with blisters in her hands. She continues to push. She is determined to push Granny May to safety. Another woman comes along, another matron comes along, grabs her by the shoulder. Fine girl, leave this woman and save yourself. Her time is fast spent. Her time is up. No, she will not budge. She's going to push Granny May to safety. Along the line, there is a loud whistling sound above them. All the villagers, they stop. All the fleeing villagers stop. They turn back. They want to see that invisible airplane that is flying above them. They couldn't see any. Then suddenly, boom, explosion, fire. The village they have just left behind blew up in smoke and fire. Those who couldn't run, those old men, those old women, those infants blew with it. Of course, while they are running, mothers abandon their children, fathers abandon their children. We have infants, we have babies crying for help with no one to attend to them because everyone is running for his or her life. Very, very sad, very gory scene, right? Now you see what the poetic prologue is hinting us about, like a foreshadow. Okay, Bendu Lewis would have loved to pack some of these abandoned babies into the wheelbarrow where she has Granny May, but that is going to slow her down. Even with Granny May, she's what? She's being slowed down. This is the time she's thanking her God for creating her black, because of course she is from upper class, they are rich, they are wealthy, and her long hair will betray her that, man, this one is different. And she's also wearing a jean trouser. She's wearing a jean trouser, and that jean trouser has marked her differently from the other villagers. She wishes to have had a wrapper that she can tie around her waist tightly, because even this jean trouser is sagging. She has leaned herself, she has emaciated herself. The person taking care of the sick one is also sick. So she has emaciated, her jean trouser is sagging. Yeah, and that jean has marked her different from the other villagers. Though that one is still okay because she has a dark skin to thank God for. That really didn't make her different, but she wished she has a wrapper tied around her waist to make her more free and more vibrant in trying to push the wheelbarrow. Everyone is running skater. Suddenly after the explosion, there is stillness, like in slow motion. People then regain their consciousness and they pick up again. Stampede, stamping children, babies to death. Old men and women continue to cry, help me, my son, help me, my daughter. Who's going to listen to them? Everyone is trying to run for his life, so no one is listening to them. Bendu Lewis is left behind, struggling with the wheelbarrow. She's the last person. At the time, Catherine May in the wheelbarrow calls on her, my daughter, thank you so much. Leave me and save yourself. No, Bendu says, Granny May, we are going to survive this together. We are getting out of here together. We are getting out of here together. Another narrative technique, which I'll tell you subsequently. We are getting out of here together. Granny May begs her, leave me. My God will take care of me, and he will take care of you. You go, save yourself. Upon saying that, Granny May goes quiet. Her body goes limp. She gives up the ghost. One man at the other end of the road, at the other side of the road, waiting for his own death, he has given up hope of surviving, of escaping because he is old, he can't really move fast, walks over and inspects the body of Granny May. Then she says, and then he says, Nama, fine girl, you are a good girl. You have done well staying with your grandmother. God bless you. Then the man goes back to his position. It is at that point that reality strikes Bendu that grandma is dead. She gathers grandma into her arms and weeps bitterly, weeps sorrowfully. She doesn't want to leave grandma. Now grandma is gone. She weeps bitterly and cries so loudly to the point that she cannot see the rebel fighters approaching. Then they stand in front of her, led by Commander Cobra. They stand in front of her. She can't see them. Her teary eye has blurred her vision. Until they, hey, you girl, what are you doing here? Who are you? Wendy Lewis is scared of nothing. She doesn't show fear. She looks at them with disdain in her eyes. She is ready to die. She has lost people dear to her to this war. First, her fiancé, Jonah, has died long ago. So she wants someone to really put a bullet in her head so that she can die and go and meet her fiancé wherever he is. Now, Granny May is dead. She cares for nothing. She doesn't care for her life. So, with defiance in her eyes, she looks straight into the eyes of Commander Cobra, fearing nothing. To the distaste of Samson, one of the assistants of Commander Cobra, who raises his gun and wants to shoot Bendu Lewis, but he stopped. He's checked by Commander Cobra. Hey, Samson, I will deal with her myself. Don't shoot. So, Commander Samson now introduces himself. I am Commander Cobra. Commander Cobra introduces himself. I am Commander Cobra. Who are you? She says, I'm Bendu with defiance. Defiantly, I am Bendu. Bendu what? Bendu Lewis. So what are you doing here? From her tone, the rebels could detect that, oh, this lady right in front of us is Americo-Liberian. That means she's not born in Liberia. She's born outside the country. She's Americo-Liberian, a Congolese, all that sort of things. What are you doing here? Why are you trapped here? Then she explains to us. Bendu explains to them, now reveals to us that they've come to Sumoville to visit relatives when the big bridge is blown up, destroyed, and they are unable to return to Monrovia. So that's why they are here. Then one of the rebels, one boy is among the rebels. You know? We have boys, we have women fighting with the rebels. One boy now looks over into the wheelbarrow and innocently says, oh, your grandmother is sleeping, isn't she? Then one of the women knocked him. Then the boy is innocent. Someone's someone's grandmother has died. You're saying the person is sleeping. Keep quiet there. So Commander Cobra commands Bendu to fall in line. Fall in line. Of course, she will fall in line. She gets hold of the wheelbarrow again. She wants to push Granny May into line. Then the rebels erupt. Where do you think you are pushing this dead body to? The place we are going, there is no grave there. What do you think you are doing? Look at this. She's determined to go with Granny May. Of course, she's crying. She wants to go with Granny May. Commander Cobra moves ahead with some members of the rebels, then signals Samson and other people to take care of Bendu. Why they try to drag her, in fact, one of the rebels, a woman from the rebel, places her hand on her shoulder, trying to comfort Bendu. While that is going on, Samson lifts its gun and hits Bendu's hand hard, which results into a serious pain for her. She breaks down into weeping, cries for pain. So the hunger, the pain she's suffering from, and the frustration and all makes her collapse. She passes out. Bendu passes out. She doesn't know what is going on. Again, she faints. And when she wakes up at night in the dark, seeing that the rebels are setting up their camp. She doesn't know where they are. Now, this is the experience that she's talking about that they will not understand. Bendu Lewis happens to be the last person to be with Granny May at the point of her undignified death. To Bendu, this is an undignified death. Now we have seen why the death is undignified. In this stuff, why this thought is going on, someone now touches her, someone from the present. Now that's the end of the flashback. That's the end of the flashback. Someone now touches her shoulder. Then she starts back into the present. Who has touched her? Agnes from the Peace Education Center. They have come to commiserate with her, to comfort her. Now she is in the present. She's back in the memorial. She sees the people. She sees Agnes. She sees Tene. She sees Calvin Daniels and the other students from the Peace Education Center coming to support her. She's glad that they are there, but the fact that she cannot open her mouth to tell them the details of what she has gone through, of her experience, hurts her the most and counts their presence for nothing. The fact that she cannot tell them all she has gone through, what she has done. What has she done? Suspense hurts her the most and renders their presence very useless. She's saying within her, will they understand? Will a family member forgive her if they know what she has done? Will they forgive her? And something annoys her when war survivors say, let bygone be bygone. Forget about the past. How will she forget about this past? How will she forget about this past? How will she let this bygone be bygone? Her family members, will they forgive her if they know what she has done? She can't bring herself to understand why war survivors will say, let bygone be bygone. So I will conclude this chapter by reading the last part of the chapter 1 for June. So let's go. Bendu was grateful for their presence, but in a way, she just wanted to be left alone. Although they did give her some sort of support, the fact that she could never tell them everything actually made her grief more unbearable, the pain more intense. What if they found out what had happened to or what she had done? Will they understand? Would her family forgive her? Sometimes it all seemed so far away, the nightmare that was the war, but sometimes the memories were so sharp they left her debilitated. A year with the fighters had changed her life forever, and she couldn't understand how so many war survivors could say so easily, forget it, let it go, or let bygones be bygones. For Bendu, forgetting was out of the question, but remembering and doing nothing about it was even worse. That is the end of the beautiful chapter 1. So captivating. So now quickly, let's move over to the narrative techniques used in chapter 1. For me, the first narrative technique that I see in chapter 1, which I want to share with you, is suspense. Suspense, a deliberate withholding of the outcome of an action. Suspense number 1. Why are they burying Catherine May Tyler Lewis now, 10 years after? Why? You ask why? Suspense. Until when Bendu Lewis now goes into the flashback, then it is unveiled to us why she is buried 10 years after. Bendu Lewis is separated from her grandmother, and there is political problem in the land. There is no peace. So it's when they see that there is relative peace, that is when they can gather the relatives and family together to celebrate this woman. Now, they bury this woman without a corpse. That's a life-size portrait. Why? Bendu Lewis tells us later in the flashback that she loses the corpse of Granny May. They don't even know where she is, because when she is separated from the corpse of Granny May, who has been in the wheelbarrow until her death and after her death, and taken away to the along with the rebels to the rebel camp, she doesn't know where Granny May's body is. she should lose contact with the body of Granny B. That is suspense. Another example of suspense. And the last part, yeah, the last part where she tells us that if a family member finds out what she has done, what had happened to her, will they forgive her? Will they forgive her? We want to know. We are curious to know. Aren't you curious to know what she has done in the past that seems so unforgivable? So this is suspense as well. So we have these three great instances of suspense in chapter 1. That's number 1. Then number 2, I find the omniscient point of view in chapter 1. The omniscient point of view. The omniscient point of view. The omniscient point of view is the objective narrator who is all knowing, who knows all, sees all, and tells all. Having the freedom to enter the consciousness, the minds of all the characters, to telling us what each of the characters are thinking, why they have done what they have done. That is the power of the third person omniscient point of view. They only mention names. They use he and she. They mention names in the narration, and they tell us what they are thinking, every detail involved in the action and event. And what proved this? At the memorial service, when Bedu Lewis is seated alone, she thinks that they will not understand. All these people gathered here talking about Granny May will never understand the depth of her pain. And when she unfolds what really happens to her at the point of Granny May's death, we really now feel with her that they will never understand her pain, her silent pain. Going into Bendu's consciousness and telling us why they will not understand, telling us about the voice she hears. Leave that woman and save yourself. All this thing is happening in her head. Then the third person omniscient point of view brings all of it out for us to see. And let me quickly make a detour. You may be asking that, okay, when Bendu has gone visiting with Granny May to Sumoville, where are the parents, Ben and Eva? Ben and Eva, they have left Liberia. They've left Liberia to America, United States of America. They are there. They have abandoned Liberia because they have lost a lot. They have lost their only son to these political upheavals in Liberia. They are part of the government before you have President Samuel Doe taking power, according to the book. Samuel Doe comes into power, plans the coup, takes over power in 1918, and they lose their power in government and everything about them. All their properties are destroyed during this war. So they have nothing in Liberia. So they don't have anything to contribute. So Ben, they have contributed all they can contribute to Liberia. The only thing they can now contribute to Liberia is Bendu Lewis suspense. We want to know why has the man concluded that it is only Bendu Lewis that she has given to them, to Liberia. But for him and his wife, they have nothing to give Liberia any more. So we want to know why that. Yeah, we want to know why that is said. Yes. So they are in America. They only returned back to Liberia because of the memorial service, and they are not planning to stay back. They are going back. It's only Seattle that returns to Liberia. Seattle returns to Liberia and to stay with her husband because Terence Clark is working with the government, the present government. So that is the point I missed out of the summary to you. So I've told you about the third person point of view. All these things are revealed to us with the power of the third person omniscient point of view. Then we have foreshadow, number 3. Narrative technique, number 3, foreshadow. A hint into the future of the work. It gives us hints through an action. That poem, 1980, Redemption is Here, is a foreshadow, giving us the hints of the things that will come in the novel. Yeah, that is that also. And another narrative technique that we see in this beautiful work of art, that is the fourth one, is Allusion, yeah, making reference. They're making reference to history, to the holy books, to religion, to places, to events, to personalities. Allusion. So, and what type of allusion is used in this chapter 1? We have historical allusion, making reference to the coups in Liberia, the one organized by President Samuel Doe, and then the counter one planned and executed by Charles Taylor, who escapes from an American prison to come and start battling the government of the day here. Eventually, Charles Taylor takes over the government and becomes the new president. That is 10 years after, in 1990, with his own slogan, "Redemption is here again." Yeah, so there is reference made, historical allusion, making reference to these two coups plotted and executed in Liberia. So historical allusion. Then we have almighty flashback. That's number, I think number 5 now, or number 6. You can count. Okay, let's count again. We have suspense. We have third person omniscient point of view. We have foreshadow. We have allusion. Now flashback. Going to past flashback. Going to past event in the present time. From the present time, at the memorial service organized to honor Catherine May, we are taken back into how she dies 10 years ago, how she dies an undignified death. Yes, that is what? That is flashback. How she dies 10 years ago. That's flashback. We are given the details. We are given the details of how the rebels attack Charlottetown, Smallville, and other neighboring villages. We are giving account of how they blow up the big bridge, making it impossible for Granny May to return to Monrovia. All these are done through the narrative technique of flashback. Wonderful one, like in media res. Okay, flashback is there as a narrative technique. Then dialogue, another narrative technique used. That's number 6 now. Dialogue, the interaction between two or more characters. The first interaction that we have in the text, that woman who advises Bendu Lewis to leave Granny May and save herself. And the second matron again coming to tell her, leave that woman and save yourself. That's one. And we have an interaction between Commander Cobra and Bendu Lewis, asking her, what is your name? What are you doing here? Despite the fact that she has this accent, this Americo accent, despite the fact she has the accent, she still speaks the dialect of the people in that area fluently. The one that Commander Cobra too speaks. Commander Cobra speaks the dialect of the people in that area. Then Bendu also speaks this fluently. To the point that Commander Cobra is asking, how come you're able to speak this dialect so fluently? Then she lies that she takes a course at University of Liberia. And that's a lie, because her fiancé, her dead fiancé, actually taught her the dialect, because he is from that part. Taught her the dialect, taught her to speak the dialect. So she hides that information away from Commander Cobra. That's the interaction between Commander Cobra and Bendu Lewis gives us this information. We also have interaction between Granny May, who is dying, and Bendu Lewis. This is dialogue, a fantastic narrative technique used in chapter 1. Then, lastly, the 7th one, irony. You saw me making an eye when I said, when Bendu Lewis is assuring Granny May that, Granny May, don't worry, we are going to survive this. We are coming out of this together. Don't worry, I will never leave you. Even when Granny May is begging her, please save yourself, my daughter. You have done well. My God will be with you. He says, no, we are living here together. You know irony. Irony is the incongruity between what is expected and what eventually happens. The difference between what is expected and what eventually happens. That is irony. Now, to Bendu Lewis, she feels he's going to escape with Granny May, that they're both going to survive the rebel attack that is destroying and blowing up the villages together. But no, Granny May does not live to survive. She dies on the spot. irony. And what type of irony do you want me to call this? I call this dramatic irony because we, the readers, the audience, know that Granny May cannot survive this. So that is irony. So you have all these wonderful narrative techniques used. Just check the screen. I've listed narrative techniques down there for you, and I've tried my best to give you the definition of some of them. With this, we come to the end of chapter 1. So, the next episode, when I'll be bringing chapter 2 to you. Thank you so much for your time, for your data. God will continue to bless you. Please do not forget to engage, to share, to subscribe to this channel. That is support you can give to this wonderful channel. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you next time in the next episode, chapter 2. It's not my work. It is Redemption Road, written by Elma Shaw. Thank you.